People don't usually question hospitals. When you're sick or injured, you don't stop to wonder. You trust the walls. You trust the lights. You trust the people in coats who tell you everything. That trust is what makes this story possible. Because for decades, patients across multiple cities have described waking up on the same hospital floor, a place that does not appear on any blueprint, directory, or official record. The first reports were dismissed as anesthesia hallucinations, stress dreams, trauma-induced confusion. Doctors hear strange stories all the time, but when patients who had never met, in hospitals hundreds of miles apart, began describing the same floor in identical detail, the explanation stopped working. They all described the same descent. It always began with an elevator. Patients remember being wheeled in after surgery or emergency treatment. Groggy, disoriented, barely conscious. The elevator doors would close, and instead of going up or down normally, the sensation would change. Not movement, but pressure, like sinking underwater, ears popping, a deep vibration traveling through the body. The air smelled wrong, not sterile, but metallic. Old blood. Cleaning chemicals layered over something decaying. The walls were painted a pale green that had faded unevenly, as if sections had been repainted decades apart. Medical equipment that looked familiar but outdated. Modified with parts that didn't belong together. Machines hummed softly, but none displayed readable data. Patients described nurses first. They wore uniforms with no hospital logos, no name tags. Their faces were calm but expressionless, like mannequins trained to move. When patients tried to ask questions, the nurses would respond with rehearsed phrases. "You're safe. This won't take long. Try not to think about where you are." Doctors came later. They wore masks pulled too tight against their faces. Their eyes were always visible, always watching. They never introduced themselves. They never explained procedures. They would simply begin, needles inserted without warning, electrodes attached to temples and chests, cold instruments pressed against skin. Patients reported intense pressure inside their skulls, like something was being measured rather than treated. Time behaved strangely on this floor. Some patients believed they were there for minutes, others for hours. A few claimed days passed, but no one ever saw a clock. No windows, no indication of day or night. Only the hum of lights and machines and the sense that something was being carefully observed. Then, abruptly, it would end. Patients would wake up in their original hospital rooms. Surgeries completed, wounds treated, doctors insisting nothing unusual had happened. When patients asked about the floor below the basement, staff looked confused. Blueprints were produced. Elevators only went so far. There was no record of anything beneath the lowest level. At first, hospitals treated these reports as curiosities. Anesthesia-induced dreams often follow patterns. Cultural expectations influence hallucinations. But then the drawings started appearing. Patients began sketching the floor. The same hallway, the same curtain stains, the same layout. Some drew symbols they couldn't explain, geometric shapes, etched into the walls behind beds. Others drew doors at the end of corridors that were always locked. When investigators compared drawings from different hospitals, different years, different patients, they overlapped almost perfectly. One patient, a retired architect, recreated the floor from memory with alarming precision. He insisted the design violated multiple safety codes, narrow exits, no fire suppression, no ventilation. "This wasn't built for healing," he said. "It was built for isolation." That comment drew attention. Internal audits were quietly conducted. Maintenance teams were sent to inspect basements and sublevels. Nothing was found. No hidden elevators, no sealed corridors. Officially, the reports were impossible. Then a nurse disappeared. She worked the night shift in a large metropolitan hospital. No disciplinary issues, no history of mental illness. On the lowest floor, no fingerprints, no explanation. After that, hospitals stopped encouraging reports. Patients who mentioned the floor were flagged, notes added to files, psychiatric consults ordered. Some were transferred to other facilities. Others found their records altered, references removed, symptoms reclassified. One patient discovered his entire hospital stay had been deleted from the system. The pattern was subtle but consistent. The more detailed a patient's account, the faster it vanished. Years later, a whistleblower released a collection of internal documents, memos between hospital administrators and an unnamed federal health authority. The language was careful, clinical, but one phrase appeared repeatedly: non-recorded treatment environment. Another phrase appeared less often, but more chilling: legacy infrastructure. According to the documents, certain hospitals, particularly those expanded during wartime, contained sealed sublevels constructed for classified medical research. Sealed, repurposed, forgotten. Unofficially, they were never fully shut down. The theory goes like this: when hospitals perform surgery under extreme conditions, severe trauma, cardiac arrest, prolonged unconsciousness, patients sometimes slip into these spaces, not physically, procedurally. Their treatment is diverted, not by choice, but by protocol embedded so deeply into the system that no one actively remembers it. A protocol that activates only when certain conditions are met. Patients who wake up on the floor often share one detail: they were told not to remember. Some recall a doctor leaning close, whispering, "This part isn't for you." Others remember being warned that asking questions would make things worse, despite no receiving hospital confirming arrival. Families told their loved ones died from complications, bodies already cremated. No viewing allowed, but the mother never stopped searching. Years later, she found an online forum. Dozens of posts, anonymous accounts. Some believe it's a relic, a leftover from a darker era of medicine that never fully shut down. Others think it's something else entirely. A system that learned to operate without oversight. A place where outcomes matter more than consent, where patients are reduced to variables. And then there are those who believe the floor isn't a place at all. The bodies that don't respond, the minds that don't behave. A space designed to observe what happens when humans are pushed just past recovery. If that's true, then the floor doesn't need to exist on blueprints. It exists in procedure, in silence, in the moments when consciousness slips and no one is watching. Hospitals still deny everything. Blueprints remain clean. Administrators insist there is no such floor. But patients continue to report it, quietly, carefully, because those who speak too loudly tend to disappear from records. And somewhere beneath the world's most trusted places of healing, lights still flicker in hallways that shouldn't be there, waiting for the next patient to forget where they are.